Here's an interview from one of our past shows on Rock and Metal Revival. If you're interested in hearing full shows, go to our Facebook page and check out our list of affiliates for times and places where you can hear Rock and Metal Revival. There's brand new music from Big Swan. It's called Big Disaster on Rock and Metal Revival. Dude, I'm just loving this album.
You can't beat it, man.
Yeah.
With the lineup it's got.
Exactly.
Man.
And, yeah, seriously, this is one of my favorites to come out this year so far, and we want to welcome to Rock and Metal Revival one of our all-time favorite vocalists. We want to welcome Robin-McAuley. Welcome to the show, Robin.
Good morning, you guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Robin, we want to tell you how much we're loving this release from Black Swan, and tell us, in your own words, how this all came together. I mean, because this is pretty much a super group.
Oh, don't call it a super group. It's just a band that kicked some ass. I've known Jeff Pilson for many years. Jeff was actually best man at my wedding 27 years ago this year.
Wow.
So we have a good relationship through our MSG days. He was on the last studio record with Macaulay Schenker. Jeff called me on this. He said Serafino over at Frontiers wanted him to put another project together because he does some work for Frontiers. And Jeff called me and he said, I immediately called Reb because Reb and I had worked on a Dokken record together. And he says, then I wanted to call you and see how you feel about working with Reb. And that's kind of a no-brainer right there. And I said, hey, you're playing bass, right? And he goes, oh, no, I'll be producing. And I'm going, no, you won't. You'll be playing bass. or there's no deal. And so we kind of moved forward. They started working. I mean, very difficult because Reb lives in Pittsburgh. Jeff and I are in L.A. Matt lives in L.A. So we weren't going to Pittsburgh.
No.
And of course, Jeff was kind of adamant that he wouldn't play bass, so he had all of these other bass players lined up, who, as the writing progressed, they became more and more less available, as did the drummers that he had lined up. So the whole record was actually recorded with Jeff programming, drum programming, just so that we could get the basic song ideas down. And so they sent me a couple of ideas. I came to the studio, was with Jeff and Reb, and I said, well, look, this is what I got for this tune. And I started singing and we weren't recording. I was just sitting in the control room with a mic in my hand. And it was Big Disaster. That was the very first song. And Reb started laughing and then going, well, go figure, this is the very first project that we're doing together. And you're calling it Big Disaster.
Yeah, really.
And I went, whoops, you're right. And it kind of steamrolled from there. We just that was kind of the mood for everything. We just didn't really think about what are we supposed to do here. Jeff said, well, I just want a classic rock record and the rest is up to us.
Nice.
And that's we didn't think about it. We didn't think, oh my God, a little Whitesnake, a little MSG, a little Dokken. No, we didn't. We just went, okay, let's get on with this, And they started woodshedding, and I'd come back with some ideas, some that they would go, oh, really? That's how you took this? I mean, I'll tell you one great example that I tell a lot of people. I get this riff from Reb and Jeff, and I can hear wolf overtones. I just hear this wolf howling. I come back to Jeff, and I said, okay, so this is what I got. And I said, I just love how he got that wolf overtone sound on his guitar on that intro. And Jeff goes, what the hell are you talking about? And I went, you didn't hear that? It's all over the front of the song. And I said, I love vampire movies. And so I wrote this whole song about vampires. And the song has got nothing to do with vampires. I just heard this. I heard this wolf thingy, and I just started to write this whole song about vampires, and it became Immortal Souls. And they're looking at me going, dude, you have some serious issues. So that's, again, no Whitesnake there, or or MSG, right? No. And that's kind of how it went on. We had an absolute blast just doing that sort of thing. There's a song on there called United Divided that was definitely influenced by the Bohemian Rhapsody movie that Jeff went to see, and
Ah.
and I had talked to him. I said I'd been to see it, and he headed off that night with his family. Came home. I get an MP3 at like midnight or something. My phone's like jumping off the shelf, and I listened to it. And I came over to him the next morning, and we were ranting and raving about it. And I went, "Let me put my vocal on there, and we see what we got." And he goes, "Oh, this is great. This is just going to be awesome." And that's part A. Now we need part B. And part B wasn't even written. So Reb came back in and came up with this really powerful riff. And then we wrote the end of the song. Mostly all of Jeff's ideas on that one. He just was very influenced by the movie. So, again, no docking on that one either.
Nice.
You know? And that's really where it went, you know?
Yeah.
Nice. Now, we had Reb on the show a couple weeks ago, and we were talking to him, and we asked him about having Robin-McAuley singing, and he said Robin-McAuley is the best singer, best part of the band. And he said, "There's nothing can." And he said nothing can suck if he's singing it.
Dude.
Yeah, he's nothing but complimentary, like just.
Well, he made it easy because he's oh my God, Jeff and I were discussing this the other night in the middle of some other interview, and he's nasty on this record.
Yeah.
He's pulling out all of the stops, and he's so melodic. He's got so much fire going on, and he just kills it. And you know, we're so used to the Wingers and the Whitesnakes. This is a different Reb Beach on here.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Nice.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and when we shot that video for Big Disaster, you know, they had a piece in front of the TV, so he's running it down so he doesn't have to do it too many times. And I was videotaping him, just acoustically there, just him playing on his electric guitar, not plugged in.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent it to him, and he goes, "I suppose that didn't suck." And I'm going, "It didn't suck." He's just standing there, and he's just killing this thing acoustically, and I'm going, "How is this even possible?" You know? And he's doing all the bends and all of the stuff, and I'm going, "That guy he's just awesome."
Yeah.
He's awesome. So if he said that, ditto, you know,
Nice.
thank you, sir, because kudos to you for sending those incredible riffs to begin with. So, yeah, it's turned out to be just a great sounding, fresh, powerful, organic record. You know, not over-processed. Just Jeff did a monstrous job on the production, and I'm really happy. For me, and I tell everybody the same, it's the best sounding record I have ever been on. And
Wow.
whether people know me or they don't know me, I don't really care about that sort of stuff. But for me, in any one record vocal that I've ever recorded, this is easily. Jeff said, "You're going to sound like you," and I went, "We'll see." And he goes, "No, trust me, this is going to be a record that you're going to like." And I absolutely love it. I think it's a great record. If it never sees the light of day, it's still the best record I've ever made. It's great. I'm not supposed to be doing a record like this or recording a record at this stage in my life, but I'm very happy that I have.
Yeah.
Well, you know, one of the things, Robin, when we got this, because we're fans of all the people in the band. We really appreciate what all you guys have given us over the years. And I'm listening to it, and one of the things I said to Jerry was, it sounds like these guys have been playing together for years. And,
yeah, right?
Yeah, it sounds like you guys have been a band for years, and I was just so taken back by the chemistry of what you guys did. I'm totally blown away by the quality of this album.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you should say that because when we got into the room in downtown LA to shoot the video for Shake the World, you know, we're all sort of, you know, "Hey, how's it going? Where's the coffee?" and all of the usual stuff. And as soon as the green light went on that we had to go and do the stuff, we actually talked about it, and we're going, "Shit, you think we were doing this for years together?" And it just came together real easy. We felt very, you know, there's a great level of respect when you know somebody and you know what they do, and it's never a question. And that's, I think, it was the unspoken word there, I say it, because, we just felt comfortable in the knowledge that, yeah, this is going to be great, and didn't think any more about it. And the same came for the songwriting. It's like, I know how good you're going to be when you pick that guitar up, you know, and that's a great feeling. There's a comfort zone there that this guy is just going to kill it, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not like, I hope he plays something like this. It's like, yeah, there it is, straight out the gate. I mean, wow, what a gift.
So is there any chance of seeing some shows from Black Swan?
The $1 million question, if we can get Red Beach for 5 minutes, that he's not with Whitesnake, or there's a funny little story. One day last week, Matt has us on a mass email, or text rather, and he was texting all of us going, hey guys, I have a couple of bands that have approached me going, really want to be the opener for Black Swan, what's the chances, blah, blah, blah. And then a reply came in from Reb, sorry, I'll be doing winger shows. And then there's another text comes in, also from Reb, going, that wasn't me, I'm writing with Kip right now. It was him that answered.
Nice.
And I went, touche,
Nice.
touche. And I went, that's funny, that is funny. So Kip's looking over and he goes, shit, no, you're not doing anything. So Jeff was saying that come September, the Foreigner train will slow down somewhat. I leave for Japan with Schenker first week of March, and then we tally-ho after a little bit into the UK, and then into the rest of Europe. And although it's not confirmed, I think there's going to be U.S. dates at some point. He usually likes to tag that on at the end of the year. Yes is the answer, of course.
That'd be
awesome. I think the band is too good not to go live. I always do say, of course, that come Friday, when this thing jumps out the gate and we see how it's received, might create a sort of a different platform, if you will, on how it's perceived. And if people just go, yeah, it's okay, but then there's nothing there. But if there's enough interest, I suppose, then we may have to sit back and go, before the well runs dry, we better do something with this,
Yeah.
And we are planning to do another record.
Excellent.
Cool.
It's not going to fall into that horrendous supergroup title thing. That's awful because this is real, and we don't want it to be like. We don't want it to be like. I think what's cool, if I may just start again, what's cool is we didn't get together and go, oh, here's a song that I never used in my last band, and rehash it. This is all fresh, brand new material. Finding our feet together and going, this is great, dude. We need to do more of this, So it's all very fresh, and I think that's the key. So yes, forward motion for Black Swan. It's too good a record, I think. So hopefully come Friday, the Valentinos will just love it.
Yeah,
exactly.
And send roses to everybody.
That would be awesome. Robin, you just gave me the two of the happiest things I've heard, that there's going to be another Black Swan album and a possible tour. I know you mentioned that you're going to be out on the road with Michael Schenker again, and
we've heard of him.
We've heard of him,
and he plays that Get Fiddle thing, right?
And, I was a huge fan of the Macaulay-Schenker group. That's my favorite. My favorite, actually, time for Michael Schenker. How does it feel being back out on the road with him again? Jerry told me he saw you in Milwaukee last year.
And you were the highlight. You were the highlight of the whole thing. You just nailed it.
Here's one of the fun things about Schenker Fest. When this was introduced to me 4 years ago, whatever, at Sweden Rock Festival, and Michael said, I have a whole new idea. I want to bring all the original singers in, Gary, Graham, and yourself. What do you think about it? And not speaking out of turn here, Michael is not a big fab fave of the Macaulay Schenker period because of, he thinks it's music for housework.